Welcome back. It's been a crazy time here with the Gigabit Ethernet, and we have at least this one more video concerning it. Uh, Having pretty much wrapped up the wrap up on the Gigabit Ethernet, there were a couple of things, as I believe I mentioned in that last video. The optical drive may be failing. We'll have to see about that. And we're looking at some erratic behavior in terms of mounting and being able to boot to Firewire 400 connected drives. So I decided, since I had an extra 120 gig SSD with a SATA to IDE connector, why don't I just put that second one in as a slave on the IDE cable and install Leopard on that, because it will always boot. And it was an opportunity, having done the firmware update, to actually make use of Leopard Assist. So I set about to do just that. And I succeeded eventually, but it was a pretty wild and woolly time going through all of this. So once again, another probably kind of chaotic video with a lot of little clips, but I hope you can enjoy what went through actually getting this installation to happen. All right, stay tuned. Well, I tried cloning Leopard onto an IDE SSD from the Firewire SSD, since this machine was having some issues with mounting Firewire disks, drives. The carbon copy cloner was behaving strangely. It kept freezing in the middle. I finally just started it up again, finished it, and was able to boot in, but Leopard is behaving strangely. So I am now going to try a clean install of Leopard using Leopard Assist. This failed the last time I tried to do it. Okay, click continue to begin. Okay, yeah, we'll read the entire thing, of course, naturally. Oh, I'll leave it at the custom, why not? Let's insert the disk here. And it mounts. Okay. All right, continue. Apply. All right. Hopefully I typed that right. And we're going to restart. Let's see if we get kernel panic. Okay. All right, so we should be restarting. The boot time has been intermittent. It went away, it came back, then it went away again. Can't open CD. Okay. Now we should be okay. Since it opened up to open firmware, it hasn't really restarted. We're just waiting for the stopwatch to stop doing that, indicating that it has finished its search for possible boot options. Okay, there's our cursor. Choose the DVD. Of course, booting from a DVD, it is going to be slow. So I am not going to worry as long as it doesn't kernel panic. Now, of course, I made all of those Firewire installers, which would have been a better option. This looks good. Yes. Okay. But this machine is so funny about what it will mount for Firewire drives, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Okay. We're going to go to Utilities. Disk utility. Here's disk utility. All right. So we're going to erase this disk, so we're starting from something clean. Okay, I'm going to erase it. Yeah, I sure am. And we're good to go. Okay, so we will quit disk utility and go back into the installer. Okay. So yeah, I've got about 40 gigs for Mac OS 9, about 80 for Tiger, and we'll use this whole disk, which is actually 120, for Leopard. Okay. Now we need to customize printer drivers. Deselect all the printer drivers and then select Hewlett Packard and Lexmark. We won't do the additional fonts. We won't do the language translations. Okay. So that should help us out considerably. And we install. Now I'm feeling good about this. I'm going to take my life in my hands here. I'm going to skip checking the installation. I did that once installing Tiger. It was on the Mac Pro 1,1. And I skipped that, and it failed, and I had a devil of a time getting it to work again. Oh well. Okay, so I will keep track of how long this takes, but at this point it should simply be a normal Leopard installation. So stay tuned. Well, it just popped up with an estimate. It was 39 minutes. It has now jumped up to 44 minutes. We will see how long it actually is. So stay tuned. Well, this is a little concerning. It's been sitting here at 10 minutes for about 6-7 minutes now. Boy, would I hate to have to do all of this again. Well, stay tuned. Yeah, I guess I do have to do all this again. Oh well. Well, here we are again, back at the Tiger desktop. We're going to look about this Mac for a second. Okay, there we go. And System Profiler. All right, now this is the salient entry here. The boot ROM version, 4.2.8 F1. Before I flashed the firmware, it was 3 point something, which is exactly what was causing it not to be able to boot into Leopard at all, no matter what I did. Okay. Now, I did get an error saying that the disk was damaged, so I'm going to go into disk utility here. And I'm going to erase the disk again. Okay. All right, so we're going to try Leopard Assist again. All right, the two processors with clock frequency of 933 megahertz, and the boot device would be the CD DVD. The normal startup. So I'm going to give Leopard Assist permission to do all this stuff. All right. So here we go again, trial 2. Now, this is open firmware again. If you're wondering what Leopard Assist does, it really is just a script that puts in those open firmware commands. All right, so the last command doesn't appear to be working, so what I'm going to do is type in the command multi boot, which should bring in the boot manager. And we, of course, have been here before. Okay, we've got the cursor. And we should get up into the install CD presently. And yes, it does take a while, doesn't it? And here we are. Okay, select English as our language. All right. Now I'm going to go into disk utility again. I've just formatted the disk. There shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to click on it. And let's verify the disk. Appears to be okay. Doesn't look like any problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through all this again, of course. I'm going to do exactly what I just did previous, except I will let the verification of the install media run. I don't really know why that would make a difference, but at this point, I'll try almost anything, so stay tuned. Well, we are winding down. Finishing these last 2%. I think this will have been in the area of 40 minutes or so just to check the installation DVD. However, we will have checked the DVD and it appears to be about to pass. We have formatted and verified the SSD. I was about to say, okay, there's no reason why this should fail. But there is a variable. Okay, installation is starting. There is, in fact, a variable. The optical drive, which you may remember I mentioned, it will mount and read DVDs, but not CDs. That thing could be failing. So I guess if this doesn't work, we're going to have to try it again, resorting back to target disk mode. Well, aren't you glad you don't have to sit through this part? I'm choosing to view this as a positive sign. The last time I went through this, it stalled at 10 minutes and then failed after 10 minutes or so, being stuck on 10 minutes. We just clicked down to 9 minutes, so that's further. You know, you start to get paranoid. I honestly find myself thinking, Apple's done this intentionally, building it in so that if you skip checking the DVD, the installation is going to fail. Well, wish me luck. Last minutes can be tricky things. This could be 20 seconds. It could be another 5 minutes. But, oh, I will be so unhappy if this fails now. Well, join with me in the countdown, if you will. Yeah, I was hoping it would start to say less than a minute momentarily. I think I just saw the progress meter move a little. I don't know if I'm feeling excited anticipation or dread at this point. On and off, I have been trying for a week to get Leopard installed onto this machine. It was up and running when I cloned it. You know, that cloning that broke halfway through, it did boot up, but it just didn't seem stable. So I'm hoping this will be more stable. looks like it's going to be up. Son of a gun. Let's restart it. Oh, please don't kernel panic. Just don't kernel panic. Okay. We're getting something. We would appear to be booting into an operating system, and it isn't OS 9. So, but I think this is actually worked. We shall see. Yeah, it can't be booting back into the CD. Not this quickly. Oh, I have never been so glad to hear the welcome. Now, I don't know why the welcome video isn't playing. Okay, we're going to skip this because it doesn't work. Now, here's a tip if you're doing this at home. The first couple of times in these last months that I have installed old OSs, I've been wondering why I have to fill in the registration. You don't really. Keyboard shortcut, Command Q, and that gives you the opportunity to skip. All right. Why does that always happen to me? All right. I have always been reminded now, OS 9, when you put in a password, puts it in the clear. Okay. Montreal. I could afford to say that I'm in Montreal. Philadelphia. Now, I don't know why this matters to me. Yeah, it doesn't like that, but I don't really care as long as the time zone is right. All right. And here we are with a clean install. Whew. I've got a lot of adjustments to make, but looking at About This Mac, 10.5.1, which is what the CD installs, we've got a bunch of updating to do. And just that reminder, if you're trying to install Leopard on an unsupported PowerPC Mac, check that boot ROM version. And it is possible to get the firmware revision 4.2.8. Apple does have it on their website, they just hide it. All right. Well, I've got some setting up to do. I'm going to have to re-download iWorks as well, because I was surprised as heck when Pages simply didn't work. I had installed it on the Tiger partition at the beginning of the week, and it works just fine. So I don't know what's really up with that. But anyhow, thank you for joining me on this crazy odyssey of an installation. But if nothing else, we have now managed to install Leopard on 3 different unsupported PowerPC Macs, once by cloning, once by open firmware commands, and now once with Leopard Assist. And all 3 have worked. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend it with me here. Be good to other people, and most of all, be good to yourselves. Take care.